fuck is going on over here? Give us some space. But on a less personal note, I am a social worker and I do comedy. So now I have 2 jobs I don't do for the money. Also, I am a spiritual person. I practice spirituality, or as I like to call it, disorganized religion.
Amen.
And I don't have any particular religion, but the second I eat one single psychedelic mushroom, I start believing whatever Old Testament poetry they're talking about on the bottle of Dr. Bronner's. Like, eternal Father, Christ's love, all in one soap. And my boyfriend and I, we recently made the choice to take mushrooms and have sex. Hey, welcome to the comedy show. And I thought it was about to be one of the most romantic moments of my life. And he looked at me and he was like, babe, I can see all of the rainbows you're made up of. I was like, ah. He was like, it's freaking me out. Let's wrap this up. Fair. So I think everyone has an addictive personality when it comes to cocaine. Cocaine was the only drug I ever tried where I was like, oh no. You better not get this guy's phone number. You're gonna call him. But I still sort of think the DARE program was stupid, right? Because no kid can say no to a DARE. Unless you're a bitch. I'm saying in a game of truth or dare, no one is choosing the truth and the alternative is drugs. I sort of think sobriety is kind of like masturbation in that once it occurs to you, it's probably time to do it. I personally would like to try sobriety, but I would also like to try ketamine. I'm sorry about my struggle. All right, I'm going to be your host all night. You can make some noise for me. And you're already a real cool crowd. Keep being a real cool crowd for the rest of these students. We're going to have a fun night tonight. No heckling, just laugh, have fun with it. And please get hyped for your first comedian coming to the stage. Make it real loud for the very funny Deb.
You guys have anything that lives rent-free in your head? Like rent-free? Every day. Well, when I was growing up, I worked with my grandpa on the farm, and every night we'd hang out in the barn and we would just talk it up. And the thing with old people, I don't see any old people out here, so this won't offend anyone. The thing with old people is they don't care where they piss. So my grandpa would be talking to me and he would just go, "Well, son, can you believe John wanted to raise the prices of hay?" And he would just face me the whole time. Guys, my grandpa's been dead for 15 years. I know what his penis still looks like. That's gotta be like getting a dick pic, huh? Yeah, I saw it. It happened. I had 2 littles, I took them trick-or-treating. And I noticed, so as we get older, we get a little bit more feisty. We had a short fuse. And I took my girls trick-or-treating and walked up to this house. And through the bay windows, they knocked on the door, and then through the bay windows of this guy's house, he was wearing sweatpants, a tight white shirt, and he was swirling some wine. Didn't think anything of it. He answers the door, and I go, trick-or-treat, trick-or-treat. And he goes, oh. And he hands him some candy. He goes, take two. And I'm like, okay, no big deal. Normal Halloween interaction. And then, as a courtesy, I go, hey man, thanks, appreciate you. And he goes, too easy, no worries. And I don't know why that just pissed me off. Pissed me off. Too easy, no worries. Bro, you're carrying a pumpkin full of half-price candy. I'm the one out here with 2 Disney princesses in 40-degree weather dressed as Iron Man. You're damn right, it's too easy. No worries. How do you become a no worries guy? No worries. No worries. I'm gonna do that the rest of the night. No worries. You know who I'm talking about. The no worries guy. Anyway. So my normal job, obviously this is not my day job, but on my normal job, I got volunteered to do drug testing. So I had to watch people pee in a cup, right? Some of you probably peed in a cup. Maybe you've had the pleasure of watching people pee in a cup. I don't know. Anyway, I was watching people pee in a cup, and at least on 3 different occasions, I've had men go, "Hey man, do you mind if I sit down while I pee?" And red flags are popping up. I go, "Ooh, why do you need to sit down to pee? Is it a problem? Is it medical?" I go, "Well, I gotta take a shit." I said, "Well, let's back this up." I said, "Why don't we just pee? Just fill it up a 1/4 inch to the line. To the line. You know the line I'm talking about. You just fill it up to the line, and then you can take a shit." And they go, "No, man, you don't understand." And that's how they talk. "No, man, you don't understand. I can't do both. I have to do both. I can't do one, and then I have to." So I go, "You're telling me that you 1/4 inch, you can't do it without shitting yourself. You can't do both. You gotta take a shit." Here's what I'm not telling you, y'all, is I'm in the Air Force. So these are the people that fix our planes. These are our pilots. These are the people that drop bombs on other people. Those are those people. But hey, we're number one. We're number one. You know, one thing, I mentioned kind of getting older, right? Kind of getting in that mid-section, the 30s, the 40s. And I don't think people talk enough about how that middle section life is so difficult. Like when you're a teenager, you know everything. Because in your ecosystem, you know everything. And then when you're old, when you're retirement age, like you've lived all this shit, so you're kind of done with it. You're like, I ain't got time for it. Well, for me, I recently was going through some marriage trouble, and I wanted to initiate a divorce, right? I wanted to get a divorce, but the thing about a divorce is it takes 2 things: time, and anyone else? Money. Yeah, money. Time and a lot of money. So I said, my finances aren't adding up right now. Maybe I should call someone. I called a buddy of mine, and I go, "Hey man, I need some help." I said, "Give me some advice. How do I make my marriage better?" And he goes, listen, man, one thing. You need to do one thing. He said, you need to learn her love language. And I said, I don't want to actually work at this shit. Give me something easier. Her love language. I said, give me something easier. He goes, all right. He goes, forget all that. Forget all that. Here's what I need you to do. And guys, listen up. I'm going to help you out here. He said, this is what you need to do. Every day, you need to wake up and you need to write her a sticky note. Just her name, something on there, and then just put love, like my name's Sean, put love Sean. Sticky note, hide it. So that's what I started doing, right? I started doing the sticky notes. So day 1, I wrote my sticky note. I said, hey baby. And I put it next to the sink. I said, the dishes are dirty. Day number 2, I go, hey boo bear. I put it next to the trash. Garbage needs taken out. Love Sean. 3rd day, bam, on the dryer. Hey sweetie, laundry needs folded. Love Sean. The good news is I no longer have to initiate a divorce. So that's really good. That's really good. Yeah. So I think that's my time. Thank you all.
Amazing. All right, y'all, let's get hyped for our next comic. Please put your hands together for the very funny Seth Samuel.
Hi, thank you. Sorry if you're triggered by alpha males. No, look, I am an alpha male. I have proof. I just got a sperm test. Yes, you're welcome for the mental image. But I did, I got a sperm test, and so here's something I learned. The average load, which is the medical term, the average load contains about 5 million sperm. And one of my loads, 75 million. Yes, you're correct. So average 5 million, me, Seth, 75 million, beta cuck, alpha male. No, I want to be really clear. I don't think that your masculinity is determined by your sperm count. I think that people have a lot of insecurity, and that's okay. But an example of this is, so my wife is a health tech executive, which is great for me because it means I can do stand-up comedy in Sacramento and still have a house. But so recently, earlier this year, she got a promotion and a raise. You can applaud, she's here. She got a promotion and a raise, and it's awesome because she works hard, she's great at her job. And she called her dad, and she was like, Dad, I got a promotion, I got a raise. The first thing he says to her, well, is Seth okay? He was worried about my masculinity. He thought I would be upset about having more money because the money came from my wife, because we live in a society where sometimes men are upset about having more money if that money comes from their wives. And I've been trying to think of like a good analogy for that, and I think the best I can do is imagine a man who is upset about having more money because it comes from his wife. Masculinity just like messes people up, you know? But so there's one like classic masculine thing that I've just never really enjoyed. I've tried, I have never found it fun to go to strip clubs. And I've thought about it, and I think the reason is I just don't see the appeal in going out with a bunch of guy friends to get sexually frustrated as a group activity. Like, I'm not like, hey, it's Friday, round up the boys, it's time for communal blue balls. And it is a little strange to me that this thing that's like a classic alpha male activity is one where a bunch of straight guys plan their night around their friends' erections. But I really appreciate that I don't have to do that, right? I'm not like, oh man, I really hope I picked the right venue, because we all know how Gilbert is if he's not rock hard at the end. Last time he got a semi, it was a disaster. I don't have to worry about that, it's nice. But I do one more masculine thing about me. I have this beard, right? This big, bushy beard. And the thing about beards, they look nice, but they take a lot of upkeep, and I hate upkeep. It's so annoying. And so I went to the barber last week, and the barber was like, hey man, your beard looks great, but you gotta wash it every day. You have to oil it twice a day. You have to condition it twice a day. So I'm like, okay, but I do. I take good care of my beard. And recently I got a tattoo, my first tattoo, and my tattoo artist said, hey, you know, this is an open wound, you gotta take care of it. You gotta wash it twice a day. You gotta moisturize it at least twice a day. Gotta keep it clean. So I do, I take good care of my tattoo. And then yesterday, I went to the dentist, and the dentist was like, hey, you should floss sometimes. And I was like, absolutely not. That's a ridiculous request. She gave me a little floss thing, and I pulled all the floss out in anger. I was furious. I threw it down and drifted gently to the ground. But my teeth actually, despite the fact that I don't floss reliably, my teeth actually hold up pretty well. And I've been told by multiple dentists across my life that I'm just really lucky. I just have very healthy teeth, and that's just lucky me. And I figure, you know what? I'll take credit for it. And I know you're sitting there, you're like, but Seth, you just said it's dumb luck. Why are you taking credit for it? Because I'm an alpha man. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Amazing. Okay, y'all, let's put our hands together for our next comedian. Please join me in welcoming Ellie Hayes.
Hello, Sacramento. And if you identify as neither, welcome to the sacrilegious. So, growing up and living in the same place really sucks. You know, like, people have really seen my most embarrassing moments from high school, and I lie awake at night, like, thinking and doing a scroll of all of my mentally most embarrassing moments. It's like I'm doom scrolling through my brain. So, if you out in the audience went to high school with me, and remember me cracking an egg between my butt cheeks, but not fully thinking it through, as the egg slowly cooked between my ass crack throughout the day, until I got dubbed the name Hot and Sour Soup Poop Girl. I no longer identify with that. It's Hot and Sour Soup Poop Person. That's so fucking offensive. I also will go with egg fried rice butt. You know, I was so fucking determined to get out of Sacramento at all costs. I would do anything for that. I tried living a few different places, but I would always come back. You know, I'm not sure what kept me coming back. The lovely trees, maybe the nice river floats, or maybe it was the fact that 40-year-old punk dudes would give me free alcohol at their shows when I was underage. You know, I've stayed in Sacramento so long that I've become the 40-year-old punk dude. And now I can't leave because I'm too fucking cool. You know, I try to convince people to move to Sacramento wherever I go because I love it here so much. You know, the food's great, it has like a great sense of community, and honestly, it's a pretty easy sell for my Bay friends. And slowly, or actually pretty quickly, I noticed that my Bay friends moved to Sacramento, and then they start talking shit about all the people from the Bay Area moving to Sacramento. And, you know, I start bitching with them because I'm like, yeah, they're driving up all of the housing causes. What the fuck is this? And then I'm like, wait a minute. You guys are all imposters. Bay bitches. It's so funny because I feel like Bay Area folks go very quickly from Sacramento shit talkers to Sacramento stans. You know, the big sell of Sacramento, and the thing I hear all the time is like, oh yeah, you should move to Sac. It's 2 hours from Tahoe, 2 hours from San Francisco at half the cost. And you know, that usually sells people. And when people move to Sacramento, one of the first things that they're greeted going down the I-5 is the Sacramento Water Tower, which is a historical landmark. Make some noise if you know the Sacramento Water Tower. So, the Sacramento Water Tower has probably the dumbest fucking slogan I've ever heard. It sounds like a pyramid scheme. It says Sacramento, farm to fork capital. And I have bad vision and a dirty mind, so the first time I saw it, I thought it said Sacramento, farm to fuck capital. I always knew Sacramento was a cow town. I didn't know it was a fuck farm to fork. I mean, there are some animals that are kinky on Tinder. You know, why do they choose farm to fork? It could be farm to spoon. All my favorite meals in Sacramento involve a spoon. You know, we could cover more bases and call it farm to spork. Sacramento really gives spork energy. Sacramento also, sporks also feel non-binary to me, which I identify with. And you know, something that Sacramento and me have in common is we're both rejected by many communities, including the queer community of LA, all the way up to the Republicans of Reading. So farm to spork feels right. I was on the Google the other night, and I found out a spork combined with a knife is called a tactical spork. accurate, we could call it farm to loud leaf blowers while I'm hungover on a 7 a.m. in the morning. You know what? I think, since I'm up here pitching ideas, we should call Sacramento what we all truly love about here. And you know, it was originally Sacramento City of Trees, so I think we should call Sacramento, City of being 2 hours away from where you actually want to be. Thank you.
Alright, we're gonna keep having some fun here tonight. Let's get excited for this next comedian. Please join me in welcoming Brad Wells!
Sorry about that. Hi, my name is Brad Wells, and I am a former United States Marine. A little bit of applause for that. I was in the Marines. I was on active duty. I suffered from a traumatic brain injury, so you got to bear with me because, well, sometimes I tend to repeat my jokes. Okay, so just so you know, if you're getting uncomfortable, when I was on active duty, I had a traumatic brain injury, so sometimes I tend to repeat my jokes. No, I'm kidding. So like some guys are getting uncomfortable, but like this guy sound like the DJ at the strip club. Ladies and gentlemen, come to the stage, Canada. Ladies, if your husband recognizes that voice. I do two impressions. Like I said, I do the impression of the DJ at the strip club, and I also do the impression of the guy that gives you the safety brief on the rides at Disneyland too. Damas and niños y caballeros. Ladies and gentlemen, it's fantastic. Da-da-da-da-da. That's the impressions part of the act. There's the impressions joke, there's the impressions, then there's the black jokes, and then there's the police jokes. They come after the black jokes. You can recognize them because the handcuffs click right after the black jokes. So much racism. If you're wondering what's going on here, by the way, I'm actually a mixed person. I'm half black, half lesbian on my mother's side. But I tell you what though, I made her proud. I actually was, like I said, I was in the United States Marines. I was in the United States Marines in a reconnaissance battalion. I was in for 18 years. I swear I grew up to become the daughter she always wanted. This is a horrible one. This is absolutely horrible. But any of you guys live on the other side of the bridge, by the way? I used to work for U.S. and Pulte Homes. While I was going through college, I worked for U.S. and Pulte Homes. I built a whole bunch of houses out in Sacramento and Yuba City. Sometimes I take my girlfriends out there, you know, to appreciate my erections. It's a vocabulary joke. If you don't get it, they can explain to you later. Somebody have the source for this guy? No, someone's got to, like, seriously. Oh my God. I actually had 3 wives. One of them was from Mexico, one of them was from Italy, one of them was from Japan. So I was actually talking to my, what wound up happening basically is, the one from Mexico, she wound up going home. The one from Italy also wound up going home. So did the one from Japan. I was talking to my marriage counselor about it. She suggested I put in an application with the INS. There we go. Should I say La Mira for the, those of us who are from down south of the border? Okay, well, moving on. Moving on. They're not all winners. They're not all winners. Oh, this is terrible. One night my wife seemed depressed. And I asked her, why are you so upset? And she's like, well, everybody hates you. I'm like, babe, they don't all hate me. When did they say this? While we were fucking. Oh, it's so painful. It's so painful. It's sad getting divorced. It's sad getting divorced. Like I said, on that same note, it's sad getting divorced. I read that book, The 5 Love Languages. I think we even talked about it a little bit later on tonight. My love language was works. That's like doing chores in the house, mowing the lawn and stuff like that. Her love language was fucking all my friends. Oh. No, actually, I was in a polyamorous relationship once. A polyamorous relationship is where it's, one person and then 2 other people. With me, it was, 1 guy and 2 girls. Or more appropriately, it was me and I was the only person taking out the trash, pretty much. Every once in a while, like I said, I'm semi-retired right now, which would be terrific. But really, when you're retired like I am, it gets to the point where you're like, fuck, I gotta do the dishes. Fuck, I gotta go get the gas in the car. Fuck, I gotta go mow the laundry. Or mow the laundry. Who mows the laundry? See? This is how having a TBI can get you in trouble right there. So, like, marriage was doing fine until I started mowing the laundry. Speaking about vices, though, besides mowing the laundry, I love McDonald's. One of the reasons why I love McDonald's is they actually have the best Coke. Has anybody ever had it?
Yes.
Yeah, my Coke dealer works at McDonald's. So, seriously, Coke has a special product. It tastes much better than most things. But now that we're sharing and learning about each other, you might want to share that phone number. Man, society is so fickle. You can be a sex addict. We can be cool about it. It's because it's an addiction, though. Or you can be an alcoholic, and there's treatment programs and other medical issues, and well, we got to be cool with that. I'm just saying, what if you're an asshole? Like, can you medically be an asshole? And if that's so, what's the disability rating required? I'm just saying, like, what is the maximum percentage? We're trying to get paid here. We're trying to get paid here. So, do the ladies like the kinky guys over here? Like, I don't do the Christian Grey stuff, but I will murder a box of Captain Crunch. If you ever knew what that did to the roof of your mouth, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Hey, but that's my time. Thanks for playing.
Alright, this next speaker on the stage is a whole lot of fun. You're gonna like him a lot. Please make it real loud for Jared!
Thanks. So when I was a kid, men were men and women were women and children were neglected. And now I'm in therapy, and that's going all right, I guess. I moved to Sacramento 4 years ago. How do you guys like Sacramento? Yeah. Okay. My buddy back east, my buddy John, I'm gonna trip on this one. My buddy back east, he calls me and he goes, "You're so lucky you live in California." And I'm like, "No, dude, I don't live in California. I wish I lived in California. I live in Sacramento." So how do I explain it to him? I'm like, it's like going to an epic music festival. Like, you're there, you're at the festival, but you're spending the whole day in the porta potty. That's Sacramento. Oh. So I was living on the streets at 16. And since my therapy sessions never are long enough, I'm gonna just bring it right here to you guys, all right? So at 16 years old, I was living on the streets. I was a homeless teenager, and it was really rough, and I've been through a lot of shit. But I've come a long way. Through belief in myself, through the power of God, I am now a homeless adult. My wife has a house, though. She does let me stay there from time to time, usually on the couch, so that works out. It's a little tricky because she has kids. Any of you guys ever date someone with kids? You ever date someone with kids? Yeah? It's really awkward. You don't quite know how to connect with them. In my case, it's especially tricky because they're my kids. So I never met my dad, and then never meeting your dad and being a dad is a special kind of mind fuck, you know? It's like I never had those experiences. I never played catch in the yard. You know, I never got taken to a baseball game. I never got called a pussy for crying. You know, like these crucial masculine experiences that we need. But the good news about not having a dad is I get to write my own script. I get to create my own path, you know? Like, for holidays, we create our own holiday tradition. So, like, say something like Columbus Day. What we do is we discover the neighbor's house, right? We kill all the men, we rape all the women, we make the children dig in the backyard for gold, and it's hilarious because they're never gonna find any. Make America genocidal again, right? So I was a homeless teenager, and at the same time I was addicted to black tar heroin, which is fucked. But luckily, I have not touched a drug in 23 years. I mean, I smoke weed, take acid, Molly, mushrooms, stuff like that, but no drugs. You know, because weed is not a drug. Weed is like a seasoning, you know? And psychedelics are like therapy the way I look at it, you know? Like, have you heard people talk about how they do this thing called microdosing? Have you heard of this? Yeah, pussies. If you're not watching your face melt in the mirror for 8 hours at a time, you are not doing your inner work. So I was a homeless teenager. I was a heroin addict. And I was a vegan, a raw food vegan, which is a crazy contradiction to be addicted to heroin and also be vegan. Like, I'm high as fuck, I'm nodding out with my buddy, and he's injecting black tar right into his neck, right? And he offers me a chocolate milk, and I'm like, nah, man, I don't put that shit in my body. So, I have another friend, he says he won't give homeless people money because he's afraid they're gonna buy drugs. I get it, but isn't that what he was gonna do with the money anyway? You know? So he says he gives them food, and I get the idea, but he doesn't understand withdrawal. Like, when you're in heroin withdrawal, you do not need food. It's like your skin is like shrinking over your body. You've got the shakes, you're sweating at the same time, you got diarrhea, which is especially tricky when you're homeless, right? And some dude hands you a fucking sandwich. What are you gonna do with a sandwich? Plus, it's a turkey sandwich. I ain't putting that shit in my body. So I'll hand them a couple bucks, and I let them decide. Maybe they need a tarp. Maybe they need some socks. Maybe they need some crack and a hooker. You know, it's up to them. Let them decide, you know? And sometimes, because buying drugs can be difficult, I take it one step further. And I'll actually bag up little baggies of OxyContin, and I go hand those out. And it's going to be very popular down at the tent city. I'm like a junkie Santa Claus kind of thing, right? But sometimes they have kids, you know? And that's really tricky because I don't know the dosage for the little guys. What are you, like 25 pounds or something? So how do I get enough drugs to just hand them out willy-nilly? I'm not a drug dealer. I don't go down to Mexico with a prepaid debit card and a fake ID and fill my spare tire full of pills and smuggle them across Border Patrol. That would be excessive, right? Like any other upstanding citizen of this fine country, I get my drugs from my doctor. I go to my doctor and I say, wow, doc, I'm in pain. He's like, would you like some Vicodin? Would you like some Tramadol? How about a fentanyl lollipop for the road? A fentanyl lollipop? A fentanyl lollipop? That's a real thing. A fentanyl lollipop. I ain't putting that shit in my body. But it would be perfect for the kids. Thanks, doc. That's my time. Thank y'all so much.
This next comedian, you're in for a real treat. Please put your hands together for Corky!
Hi. My name is Corky, I think. Anyhow, my daughter and son-in-law made me do this, so I apologize right now. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm a holic. I've always been a holic. But I'm trying to go through recovery, is it? I think, yeah. She told me I had to use this thing. I could be loud enough. I have always been a holic from birth. My mother passed down the genetics for it. And it started out as a read-aholic. And I actually get withdrawals if I don't have, or I used to, don't have a book with me. My kids thought it was a little weird. I used to drive, and at all of the stop signs, I hate to tell you that this is a true story. And I am also, I am beautiful and brilliant, and I have testimony. My children have been saying it since they were 2. I don't know how they learned that. Oh, I forgot my notes for tonight. Okay. Am I done yet? I know you wish I were. Now, I know that you probably don't know that Jared, the guy who was on before me, is my son-in-law. Aren't I lucky? Because I get all of my drugs at wholesale prices. Okay. Oops. Something's been down for me. Oh. I also, okay, I told you I didn't need the damn mic. I also have been in my life, besides a readaholic, I have been a workaholic. They forced me to retire 2 years ago. I was a nurse for 50 years. God, you were lucky not to be my patients. Okay, I got a few more items I want to show you. Oh, I've gotten over this. I'm a sugar-aholic, but I'm getting over it. Anybody want some cotton candy? I'm giving it up for Lent. When is Lent? Jared also gives me the kids' dose of the fentanyl lollipops. Anybody want any? Oh, it went to my son, and it wasn't planned. Oops. The one thing, God, am I done yet? I know you're hoping I am.
All right, Grandma.
No, no, no. I don't want to now.
What a pleasure to have in class. Could you imagine? I'm just going to take a quick moment for the changeover. We only have one more comedian left for you. She is super, super funny, a real treat. Cotton candy. All right, are we ready for our final comedian of the evening? Make some very talented. Please welcome Shauna!
excited. I just wanted you to know. Let me introduce my impromptu prompter. Right? So it's my first time, and I thought, if you would expect not to laugh, right, then we could both be pleasantly surprised if it happens, right? Like women in orgasms, right? Oh, honey, you should have. But really, we act as if women's orgasms are like one of the world's greatest mysteries of all time, right? More than pyramids, Stonehenge, or UFOs. Like even science is stumped, right? You know, which we trust with everything? Yes, everything. But satisfying women, sometimes, you know, just leads to grandmothers rolling over, you know. So the first prick of Earth from space, 1946, right? The first accurate mapping of the clitoris. Ooh, I said it. 1998, right? Oh, baby. Wait for it. Other lungs, other organs, like the lungs or the heart, 1600 BC. Okay. So it took a woman urologist from down under to unveil this organ's true shape. Have you seen it? We think it's like a button, yeah? Look at this. It's like a strange bird, right? Like a little split-bottom swan, right? It's golden. I wanted a rainbow one, honestly, you know. Then I would have sang you like a clitoris rainbow. I'm keeping her close. Okay. Don't let me get started on all the other options for all the other organs, right? You know what I'm talking about, just scroll of peni. All right, so when was this included in anatomy books? Are we ready? 2005, friends. This you gotta hear though, right? Dr. Helen claims felt provoked to mapping the organ because, but in an 1885 medical text, she read that it claimed the female organ was a failure of the male formation. I know, that's what I wanted to hear. All right, now boys, hear me. I swear that ism is erect jealousy, okay? Let me adjust the mic's lucidity here. I mean that the organ that takes tissue and sock crust donations, you know, and then just starts popping out generations, like you get a life and you get a life, right? Is not the failure. Anyway, 1998. You guys want to know what else happened in 1998? Multinational space station and probes to Mars. Okay. And then also the first successful hand transplant. And wait for it, Viagra. That's right. Meanwhile, we just had to like meander through decades, just like blindly stumbling, like, you know, babe, can you pop the hood? You know, these lady parts, I tell you. Ah, look, don't worry. I got mine, yay. You know what I'm saying, okay. You know that it's up to us, right? We have to educate ourselves and our partners. We all know this. But still, I get an image of multitudes of masculine who's priding themselves on reason and science, right? But just lost in their own house. Like, babe, where is that thing? Like, babe, do you know where anything is? Where is everything? Right? No, nobody's ever been lost? Okay. You know, but even if they were the last person to use it, or even if they're the only person who gets to use it, so. Meanwhile, we get to hear, my wife, I tell you, no respect. Why is she so moody? Women's orgasms, am I right? We know that bit's been done, right? That bit is a bit like a woman takes pounding and keeps on going. Anyway, you get a life and you get a life, okay? Anyway, understanding the clitoris now is even treated like a new discovery or a frontier, right? So it must feel similar to when something's like existed for nearly all time, right? And then we discovered it. You know, people standing on ancient lands in front of ancient peoples and their ancient cultures and buildings we can't even recreate now, right? And then actually be like, look, land and people standing on the land. I suckers just be like, you get a blanket and you get a blanket. Look, buddies, so much and nothing much. I almost think it's like the old wacko conspiracy of UFOs, or I'm sorry, UAPs. Like, believe even, right? Hallelujah. Your goddess's orgasms are out there. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you so much for coming out to support live local comedy. If you want to hang with all the student performers you saw tonight, we're going to be walking right outside. There's another show coming up at 8. It's going to be super funny. It's called Transkexual. So stick around for that. But otherwise, I'll see you outside real soon. All right, have a great night.
Thank you everyone for coming out.